Today, we have a story time of a spoiled kid who literally gets so angry that he doesn't get what he wants, that he goes on an unhinged rampage and actually says that his dad could buy the subscriber. Yeah, that's a little sus, bro. So stand back, or not stand back, sit back, relax, subscribe if you're new, and let's jump right into it. So we're going to call the subscriber submitted today's story Brat. So anyways, Brat and the spoiled kid. There's also a kid in his class who we're just going to call the spoiled kid. And the spoiled kid was a very standard, typical spoiled kid. He was the type of kid who literally got anything he ever wanted. If he wanted something, he would ask and he would receive. So while it's like a good thing to give your kids things that they want sometimes, this kid literally got everything and anything that he ever wanted. So he kind of had this bit of entitlement in which he believed that he was actually deserved everything ever, and like that he actually did deserve to like receive everything. So when he didn't get something, that just didn't make sense to him. So here's the thing. There's a girl that both Brat and the spoiled kid were both very into. And we're going to call her Caroline because that's kind of becoming the very standard girl name I've been using. So anyways, Brat had a thing for Caroline. The spoiled kid had a thing for Caroline. However, the spoiled kid was known as being a big jerk. And Brat was actually kind of a, he's a chill guy, was, very talkative, not very talkative, but like could hold a good conversation. And the spoiled kid and Brat would basically duke it out. And this is how it goes. So anyways, almost everyone knows about this little quote unquote rivalry they have. Even the girl, even Caroline knows. And she is actually trying to make up her mind. So, at this point, Caroline's in a pretty good position because she's like, well, I got suitors. Like, I got a lot of guys fighting for me right now. And so anyways, she kind of is just like kind of sitting back and seeing what they do. It's pretty clearly that she's leaning towards the Brat over the spoiled kid because the spoiled kid is kind of a jerkwad. But let's just jump into their first interaction. So anyways, they're sitting down at lunch. And Caroline is sitting there with her friends. And basically what happens is, she gets up to go and get more food. So Brat is sitting with his friends, and they're talking about, like, oh, man, like, how's it been going with Caroline, right? And he's like, actually pretty good. We've been talking a little bit. I got her Snapchat or whatever. And they're like, oh, but, like, you've heard that, like, spoiled kid is trying to go for her, too. It kind of became, like, a thing around the school to talk about, oh, my God, who's going to get Caroline? All that kind of stuff, right? Like, oh, it's going to be so crazy. Who's actually going to get it? And, so sure enough, Brat is he's a little worried, but at the same time, he's not crazy worried because it is the spoiled kid at the end of the day. So, but the thing is though, Brat and his friends are sitting at the table and they watch as the spoiled kid walks up to where Caroline is in line. So they start to realize that, okay, looks like he's up to something. So the spoiled kid walks up to Caroline and he walks up next to her close enough that she can see him and she can see whatever he's doing. So he walks up to Caroline and he goes, oops, and he takes out like his wallet and throws it on the ground. And intentionally, he wanted to make sure that the dollar bills in his wallet would spill everywhere. So like literally like $100 bill floats out of his wallet. Remember, this is a spoiled kid. If he wanted money, he could get money. If he wanted something, he could get something. He could literally get anything. So he kind of feels as if he's a little bit entitled to Caroline, which guys, don't feel entitled to someone, bro. That's crazy. But he's trying to flex right now by having a $100 bill spill out of his wallet. So Brat and his friends notice this, and Brat's like, does he really think that that's going to get her? But Brat in the back of his mind's like, dang, like, what if Caroline actually falls for this, bro? Like, what if she's allured by I don't even know what she'd be allured by, but what if she's allured by something, you know what I mean? And so Brat and his friends are like, dude, like, that's not going to work. So Caroline sees this, and she kind of looks like, I don't know, she's not, like, intrigued by this, bro. Like, I think she's, like, kind of some character, right? So she sees this and she's like, oh, well, this is a really lowbrow move. Like, he's just trying to be like, oh, I have money, so you should like me, bro. But in this spoiled kid is like, oh my God, how did this fall out of my how did this fall out of my hands? I'm so clumsy. Ha ha ha. Like, it's so cringe and lame and weird or whatever. And Caroline notices this and is like, ugh, like this kid is weird, bro. Like, he's really out here trying to flex like the $100 bill that his parents got him. That's the thing too. Like, I can understand flexing is always a little obnoxious, but I can understand being like, hey, I'm financially secure, especially when you're later on dating, because that's definitely like something that's nice, like going into a relationship with someone financially secure, that's something maybe you don't need to worry about. But bro is literally in like 8th grade flexing a $100 bill that his grandma probably gave him for his birthday. Like, bro, that's just simply not a flex. And so the spoiled kid picks up and is like, oh my God, I can't believe this $100 bill fell out of my wallet. Like, oh my God, this is so crazy. Looks directly at Caroline, like waves the $100 bill around. Oh my God, it's going to fall in my hands again. And he like drops on the floor. Oops, my $100 bill fell out of my hands once again. Yeah, so Brat notices this and is like, dude's going way too hard. And he's like, oh my God, the $100 bill, it's on the ground. And the spoiled kid goes down to pick it up and is like, oh my God, it's so much money. And believe it or not, guys, this is actually not an attractive thing to do. This is not going to woo Caroline over. Spoiler alert. She's not going to be like, oh my God, his grandma gave him a $100 bill. I love you now. Like, bro, that's just simply not how it works, dude. I don't know how else to put it. That's just not how it's going to work. So, yeah, sure enough, Caroline just kind of watches this, kind of is like, ugh, whatever, right? And the spoiled kid moves on. So the next day comes around, and so Caroline is in the hallways, and she's hanging out with her friends or whatever. And Brat sees this as a decent opportunity, as her friends seem to be walking away, and it's like Caroline is like getting her stuff, about to go to another class. So Brat is like, all right, cool, like, I can, because he's already been talking to her. This isn't some cold approach stuff, right? He's already been talking to her. He's like, okay, cool. Like, I can go up to her. We can chat it out a little bit. Word, right? Whatever. So Brat goes up to her and he's like, hey, like, what's up, Caroline? And she looks at him and kind of gives him this, like, nice little smile because she knows what's up, guys. Like, she knows what's good. She knows what's going on right now. So, yeah, she's, like, kind of gives him a little smile, like, hey, like, what's up? Like, how's it going, man? Like, how's it going? And, yeah, so they start walking, and, you know, Brat's kind of like, you know, chatting her up a little bit, asking how her day's been, asking how this class they have together is going for her, all this kind of good stuff, right? And that's when the spoiled kid sees this. And the spoiled kid is like, ah, hell nah, bro. Like, I'm not letting this happen. So the spoiled kid, he has a water bottle on him, right? The spoiled kid has a water bottle, and he grabs his water bottle, and he's walking down the hallway. So Caroline and Brat are walking down the hallway in one direction, and the spoiled kid is walking down the hallway as well. And that's when the spoiled kid is like, oops, and he accidentally, doesn't actually do it accidentally, but he tries to make it look like he trips. And when he trips, with huge quotation marks, I'm doing air quotations in the air right now, actually, because there are huge air quotation marks around this. When he trips, right, he spills all this water all over Brat. And it's funny because, like, it's very obvious that he did it on purpose. Like, he falls to the ground, but after he falls, he literally dumps the rest of the water bottle on top of Brat anyways. So it's like, why did he even pretend to fall, bro? It's so obvious. Yeah, so it was super obvious that the spoiled kid was trying to sabotage this on purpose. And I don't know why the spoiled kid really thought that just getting him, like, Brat wet is gonna, like, somehow mess up his charisma or something. Or I don't know why the spoiled kid thought that was gonna improve his chances. Because if anything, dude, it literally just made it more obvious that the spoiled kid was, like, desperate at this point. And the spoiled kid literally just made it look like he was trying to sabotage Brat, and it just failed. So Caroline, the thing is, she notices this. She notices that because she knows they have a little bit of a rivalry going on anyways over her, lol. But she knows that they have, like, a little bit of a rivalry going on. But also, right, she notices that, like, who's playing dirty here? The spoiled kid's playing dirty. You know what the spoiled kid has not done? Really tried to talk to her, bro. Like, all the spoiled kid has done is tried to, like, flex his, like, lifestyle or whatever, when in reality his lifestyle is literally just what his parents give him. So, yeah, he's been flexing his $100 bills that grandma gave him for his birthday, while Brat has actually been putting in the hard work and trying to have decent, good conversations with her. So, who do you think she's gonna pick, bro? I don't know about you, but it's a pretty clear situation in my mind. Like, it's pretty clear which one she's gonna pick. But anyways, I do digress because, you know, Caroline is like, oh, Brat, like, all right, like, do you need me to, like, get a paper towels or something? And the spoiled kid starts to realize, oh my God, this is actually backfiring in my face. Because he notices that, like, Caroline is like, oh, Brat, let me help you out, whatever, right? And Brat's like, or no, sorry. The spoiled kid's like, oh my God, Brat, you got water all over you. How embarrassing. And Brat's like, looks at him, is like, wait, how is it embarrassing that you tripped and spilled water on me? And that's when the spoiled kid realized, wait a minute, if anyone's going to be embarrassed here, it's going to be me, because it makes me look clumsy, because it makes me look like I just tripped and spilled water all over this guy. Like, if anyone here is going to be embarrassed by this situation, it's actually going to be me. And that's when the spoiled kid's like, no, dude, it's actually super embarrassing that you got water on you. Like, it's actually embarrassing for you. I feel so embarrassed for your behalf, bro. Like, That's actually so crazy, dude. Like, I'd be so embarrassed if I were you right now. Like, shoot. And that's when the spoiled kid realizes that he kind of messed up doing this whole thing. And Brat's like, oh man, don't worry. Like, it's okay if you're clumsy. Like, I don't really blame you for being super clumsy. And the spoiled kid's like, I'm not clumsy. You're clumsy for getting water all over you. And the spoiled kid, and Brat's like, dude, you tripped and spilled the water on me. And spoiled kid's like, I didn't trip. I poured the water on you. And Brat's like, oh, so then you just intentionally poured water on me. And he's like, no, I just tripped. And then Brat's like, so you're clumsy then? He's like, no, I'm neither. I'm just awesome. Caroline, you hear that? I'm awesome. Yeah. Stop being so clumsy and getting water on you, Brat. So clumsy, dude. Goodbye. The spoiled kid literally gets up and leaves, trying to make it look like he won that whole altercation where it's just so freaking obvious that he did not win that conversation at all. If anything, it just shows how embarrassingly desperate he is at this point. Because I think the spoiled kid is starting to realize that he is not winning this. He is definitely not the one who is going to be coming out in front. Also, by the way, if you made it this far into the video, comment shoe down below. Completely random word, but I try and make them as random as possible. I just like to see how many people made it this far into the video. So while you're down in the comment section commenting shoe, check out the pinned comment as there's a link to the Spotify in which all these stories are uploaded as podcasts. So make sure to go follow me on there and listen there. As well, there are 2 links in the description to my other 2 channels. I will be uploading daily on there from this day forward. Make sure to subscribe as it really does help out. Anyways, right. So Brat and the spoiled kid it's starting to become like people are like spreading the word that Brat is winning. Like it is becoming like a popular rumor that Brat is absolutely bodying the spoiled kid in the quest for Caroline. That sounds so stupid. In like basically in this little competition they had. And the spoiled kid is very tapped into what the press is saying. I can't believe I just said what the press is saying. He's very tapped into what everyone else is saying, as it is kind of like one of his best indications. I mean, Brat knows he's doing well because he knows for a fact that he's actually putting in the work and talking to Caroline, and he knows that the spoiled kid is literally just like flexing his grandma's $100 bills and also spilling water on him and looking like a fool. So the spoiled kid basically has one last hurrah. He has one last major kind of like attempt before he has a freaking mental breakdown and calls everyone poor and says that his dad can literally buy Brat, which is just a great thing to say, man. Wow, that is top notch. You sound like a great person if you say that your dad can literally purchase someone. Bro, what the freak? What? Yeah, but anyways, so his last real attempt, the spoiled kid in his mind was like, I need to do something big. I need to do something bold if I'm going to get Caroline's heart, which actually you should probably just start talking to her. Like that's the one thing that like he refused to do, bro. The one thing he refused to do was actually talk to this girl, which is pretty ridiculous in my opinion. He would always be like, oh, well, I just need to flex my Bugatti or whatever. It's like, bro, how about you talk to her, bro? Like, first of all, if you're a kid, everyone knows that like the stuff that you have is probably because of your parents. And that's less impressive. Like, it's at least a little bit more impressive if you have like a, I don't know, like fancy watch or whatever, because it at least seems like you made that money in whatever ways you made it. So there's at least like, okay, well, maybe he went through some struggle or something to get that. But when you're a kid, bro, it's like, all right, cool. Your parents are dishing out the bread to you. Like, that's literally not impressive, dude. And also, like, you got to talk to her, bro, but whatever. So the spoiled kid is like, yes, the thing I need to do is a big, extravagant whatever. Like, I need to show my love and admiration. I don't need to talk to her, bro. I don't need to get to know her because she needs to actually, she needs to get to know me, not the other way around. I don't need to get to know her. I know she's fine or whatever, right? She needs to know how extravagant and awesome that I am individually. So yeah. Anyways, the spoiled kid is about to do something absolutely insane. So let's jump ahead to lunch. So Brat is sitting with the boys, and Caroline's sitting at her table with her girlfriends. And Caroline is like looking over, giving Brat glances. They're kind of looking at each other. They're being a little flirty. Love is in the air. Life is good, man. Brat knows that he's about to close in on a W, bro. Brat knows he's about to close in on a win. He knows that like he's been putting in the work, he's been putting in the effort, and that his hard work is about to pay off. Basically, the rumor going around is that Caroline has more or less made up her choice and that she wants Brat to ask her out in the next few days. So the spoiled kid, hearing this, thinks that he needs to do something extremely extravagant, which he's about to in the worst possible way. So basically, they're all sitting at lunch, and that's when the spoiled kid... Okay, so basically at lunch, there's a kind of like a podium with a microphone, And what will happen is, like, when lunch is about to end, a teacher will go up there and make some announcements. It's kind of like, because they get the whole school there in the lunchroom. It's just a really easy way to get everyone together and make some announcements. However, the spoiled kid has decided to sabotage this for his own plans, right? And sabotage it he does. So basically what the spoiled kid does is he goes up to the podium, turns on the microphone, is like, hello, everyone, can I please have your attention, please? I need your attention right now. And, like, first of all, kids are not allowed to go up there, so everyone is like, whoa, what's going on right now? It's like, I need everyone's attention immediately, like, no question about it. Like, Susie, can you shut up, please? Like, I need your attention. Like, literally calls out some kid in the back, like, oh, okay. So he's like, okay, guys, I need this message to be super clear. Caroline. And immediately when he says the name Caroline, like, Brat is like, oh, shoot, dude, this kid's about to embarrass himself. Like, at the end of the day, Brat is only benefiting from, like, the spoiled kid looking like an idiot. But at the same time, like, he felt kind of bad, bro. Like, he felt kind of bad. Brat has at least a little bit of a heart. And so the spoiled kid is on the mic being like, Caroline, I want to let you know that I know how into me you are. Which, like, first of all, hey, bro, what are you doing? I love how he opens it with, like, I know how into me you are. Like, dude, what makes you believe that? He's probably saying that, just probably thinking, like, oh, if I tell her, like, she's a sheep. If I tell her something, she'll believe it. So he's like, I know how into me you are, and I just want to let you know that I think you're okay as well. Like, I guess you're fine. So for that reason, I will be giving you the opportunity to go on a date with me this Friday. I know you're going to say yes, but feel free to say yes in front of everyone so they know that I'm the winner and Brat is the loser. Yep. And it is dead freaking silence for like a good couple seconds. And I know you're thinking, oh, it's dead silence for a couple seconds. These were the longest seconds ever. These were minute-long seconds, or at least it felt like these were minute-long seconds. Like, this was insane. So yeah, sure enough, it's just dead silence. And then everyone turns their head. Like, every single person turns their head to look at Caroline. And Caroline, I guess she was like, I don't know, like, she wasn't really happy. Okay, look, dude, you can, and it's not okay. These big gestures, I think it's just, like, important for me to, like, reiterate. It's not a really okay thing to do, bro. Because, like, you're really putting this, like, this is embarrassing for the other person. It's totally chill if you want to ask someone out, but do so in a more respectful way. I mean, unless you know for a fact that they love the attention and that they want to say yes to you. Like, something like this is just, you're embarrassing someone. They don't consent to you embarrassing them, bro. Like, anyway, so she goes up to the podium, and the spoiled kid's probably like, yes, she's going to say that I won in front of everybody. So Caroline goes up to the podium, grabs the microphone, looks at the spoiled kid directly in the eyes, and says, sorry, but no. The whole, like, crowd is like, ooh, like, oh my God, she just said no to spoiled kid in front of everyone. This means that her and Brat are dating right now. And she puts the microphone back. And the spoiled kid is, like, just kind of, like, sitting. He's just kind of, like, there, bro. He's literally just there. So the spoiled kid is very angry about this. He's like, oh my God. And instead of blaming Caroline, which, first of all, good, you shouldn't blame Caroline, right? The only person to blame here is really yourself in this situation. But the spoiled kid grabs the microphone and in front of everyone is like, Caroline, you're making a huge mistake. Brat is a little poor kid. I am the richest. And everyone's like, bro, what did you just say? Like, that is the weirdest sentence to ever come out. And he's like, Brat is so poor and I'm so rich that my father could literally buy him if he wanted to, and it would be literally 0.0000001% of what he has. Like, he could buy him 1 billion times and still be richer than Brat, bro. And everyone's like, bro, hey, bro, what do you mean by buy him, bro? Like, what do you mean by that? And so the spoiled kid's like, Caroline, you're making a mistake. And then he turns to Brat, he's like, Brat, How much, like, what did you do? Like, what did you tell her? Like, what lies? What spells? What witchcraft? I am obviously the better one. Literally, I am the best. I have all the... And the spoiled kid literally is just having a meltdown, like an ego explosion. He's talking about how he's better than Brat, how he's, like, more attractive, richer, nicer, more humble. Like, the nicer and humble part is just pretty ironic for having a mental breakdown on stage about how epic you are. Like, you can't be like, I'm the most sexiest, richest, hottest, and most humble individual on planet Earth, and I need to let you know. So this spoiled kid is like, and I had enough of this. And he literally takes the microphone and chucks it on the ground, and it breaks into, like, a bunch of pieces. By this time, the staff have made it to the stage and, like, take this spoiled kid away. And they bring him to the principal's office, and bro gets suspended for 3 days and has to, like, literally make okay, not a public apology, but he needs to write an apology letter to both Brett and Caroline. Bro got owned.